So let's talk a little bit about the modelling landscape. I often hear discussions about conceptual, logical and physical data models, and I think there is some confusion about how and where and when these modelling techniques should be used. One of the things that is clear is that you can use data modelling techniques for the same techniques for physical, logical and conceptual modelling. And sometimes it's not clear, to me at least, in looking at data models I've seen over the years, whether a model is intended to be physical, logical or conceptual. So here I've tried to draw out the way I see the landscape for data modelling into three layers: conceptual, logical and physical models. I think that conceptual models, at the top of this diagram here, are intended to represent the real world, the concepts in the real world that go on around us when we're running a business, whereas a logical data model is aimed at modelling the data that you intend to have across all of your systems in a particular company. And then a physical model is a model of an individual system, the data in an individual system. So if you look at this, if you like, in reverse order, a physical data model will necessarily incorporate all of the constraints that you've of the technology that you've chosen to implement a particular system in. So if you've chosen Oracle as your database management system and you're developing an Oracle system, then a physical model will necessarily include the data types that Oracle would recognise and any constraints that you've had to design around imposed by Oracle as a database management system. Those constraints of a particular system or a particular piece of technology are not prevalent in a logical data model. The idea of a logical data model is that it represents your data across all of your systems. Nevertheless, it does represent your data and will undoubtedly include some of the constraints that you impose on the type of data that you hold as a company. A conceptual model is a model of concepts and things in the real world and should not incorporate any constraints of any particular technology or any particular systems or way that you want to hold data. We will be focusing in this set of videos on using conceptual models. So we will not include any constraints that are specific to a particular technology or to a particular company. We'll be focusing on really what business people understand best, the real world. And the models that I use as examples here and the techniques I suggest you try using on models of your own are those which should focus on modelling the real world that business people understand. That is to say, conceptual models. So hopefully that gave you some context for what we mean by a conceptual model. What I'm going to do in the next module is to fast forward and take a look at a couple of uses of a conceptual model in practice.